My name is Rihanna Williams. I am the program manager here for the MBA programs and our MS programs. And then joining me this evening is Dr. Martin. She is the Director of Graduate Business Programs. And we're going to go through this evening's presentation. And again, there's going to be a chat box that's open. If you have questions along the way, feel free to please type in your questions there, and we'll be taking questions and answers at the end of tonight's presentation. But we do want to remind those that are joining us this evening that tonight's presentation is going to be recorded, so please do ensure that your video and microphones are off until the question and answer portion of tonight's presentation. So I will hand it over now to Dr. Martin.
Okay, well, it's great to meet you virtually, and as Rihanna said, I'm the director of the graduate programs here at Cal State Long Beach. And this first slide that you see is the concept of diversity and how important diversity is for us. We have, you can see from the picture, we have lots of students that are in our alumni network, and we really pride ourselves on bringing in students from all over the world, as well as all different ethnic groups, gender, everything. We just believe that it makes our programs a much richer experience for students and faculty. All right. So the value of getting your MBA. So if you're thinking about getting your MBA, these are some important things that you should consider. Getting your MBA it involves time, it involves money, it involves a commitment to giving up some things in your life. And so for giving up all this stuff and everything you have to spend on it, you want to get something out of it. And so some of the things we have listed here are just a subset of what you get from your what you earn from getting your MBA. You're joining a network of connected MBAs. We have about 6,000 MBAs from the College of Business. And when you start here, you immediately become part of that network. And we make sure that when you're going through the program, you get to meet alums and you get to network with them. It's another way to jumpstart your career for those people who have started working maybe in retail or the food industry or something like that. If they really want to go into industry, this is one way to do it. If you want to change industries, this is another thing. Many people start out in one industry and then decide they want to go to a different industry. You might have started out in the aerospace industry and now you're interested in learning more about the Hollywood and the entertainment industry. So this is a way that you can do it too. The other thing is it brings promotions and raise in pay for people as you go through the program. We've seen students that go through the program and halfway through the program, they'll get a promotion or they get a big raise, and then again when they graduate. Because what you're learning here every night that you're in school or every Saturday that you're in school, what you're learning, you can actually take it into your workspace and apply it to what you're doing. Also, MBA brings prestige that really differentiates you from others in industry. One of the examples is we get a lot of engineers that decide they want to come in to get their MBA, and they're doing that because being an engineer has got them to a certain point in their career, and now if they want to get up into management and work their way up management, they need an MBA to be able to do that. So some of the resources that we have and as you can see it across the top, it says in all of our programs. So all the stuff we have here are resources that are provided to all students that come into our program. We have our own Graduate Business Career Center, which basically means we have people here who work with you and are experts in the area of graduate business education and helping students when they graduate to get into management positions. So some of the skills that they put you through is learning how to write a resume that will basically open a door for you. They'll put you through mock interviews. We have a very strong internship program for students that are coming in with little or no industry experience. We also have a graduate mentorship program, which is as I was saying before, you get to connected with our alums, and this is one of the ways that we do it. We have a mentorship program where we match students with alumni, and over the course of a year, you get to know them, you meet them, you maybe go out to dinner with them. We have events, and it allows you to learn more about the industries that they're in. They can talk about their career path and what they've done, so you really get to know what it's like to be an alum of our school, as well as just connecting with more people. We do workshops, networking workshops. One of the things that we've started doing in the last couple years is doing Toastmasters to help students learn how to speak in public and how to feel confident in what they're doing. We have numerous advisory boards, and we always have at least one student on each one of our advisory boards. So if you would be interested in being on an advisory board that has both alums and other people in industry, you could join an advisory board. All of our programs have orientation where you learn the basic skills that you'll need to succeed once you start in the graduate program. For example, the case study method, learning how you come together as a team and work as a team. Your soft skills, which are basically learning how to communicate via writing, learning how to communicate via getting up and doing a presentation. All of these things are important for you as you go through the program, as well as when you graduate. We also have a Graduate Business Student Association that is very active, and that's another place where you get to know students across all the different programs that we have, as well as our alumni network. All right. So we have 4 MBA programs, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick overview of each of the programs, and then from there you'll be able to get more information on our website, and then also communicate with, you can send us emails or talk with us afterwards. So our first MBA program is the Evening Program. It's a part-time program. It's designed for working professionals. It's self-paced, which basically means as you go through the program, you can adjust it to fit your work schedule, your life schedule, allow you to get some work-life balance. If you have a particular semester where you're going to be doing a lot of traveling, you may want to take fewer classes, maybe take 1 class instead of taking 2 or 3 classes. So that's the whole idea of being able to be self-paced. We also have our orientation residential that is required. And then if you're interested in doing a study abroad, we also have an optional study abroad course that you can take. Some places that they go to have been like Hamburg, Germany. They've gone to Vietnam. Let's see, I think Singapore. So there's China. So there's been different countries where they go to, and you would go as a class. We integrate soft skills across the entire curriculum, which basically means when you're in a class, like let's say you're in a class where you're doing a lot of data analytics. If you're doing data analytics, you have a lot of numbers. Well, how do you tell a story with those numbers so you can communicate the findings that you have from your research or from the analysis that you've done? So we teach you how to do that so that you can put together good PowerPoint slides and tell a story around all those numbers. The other thing is, if you're interested in starting your own business, we have the Beach Incubator, which is every Tuesday night. If you're interested in learning how to start your own business, you can go to the Beach Incubator. It's all for free. The other thing that we have about this MBA program that is different from all the other programs is you can either get a general MBA or you can select from one of our 9 concentrations, and they're listed there at the bottom of the screen. So you can get it in finance or marketing or healthcare management. So there are all sorts of different concentrations, and you can do that. Or you can just go with the general MBA. So what we have here is a picture of what the typical MBA student looks like in our program. And our typical student has an average age of about 31. We have about 35% women and 65% men. The average GPA is 3.2. You can see that the GMAT range goes between 520 and 650. And we have about 20% international students in our program. The other thing is, many people ask us, well, I don't have an undergraduate degree in business, so can I get an MBA? And our answer is yes. The top 2 undergraduate majors that come into our program are business and engineering. But having said that, we have students that come in from all different majors. We'll have them come in from literature or from science or anyways, the whole range. So you do not need to have a business undergraduate degree to succeed in the MBA program. Okay, so our second program is the Saturday program. And this is a program that is designed for working professionals. You have to be working. It meets, as the name says, on Saturdays. It's for 23 months. So you can get done with the program in just around 2 years. You go on 10-week quarters, and each 10 weeks you take 2 classes, one in the Saturday morning from 8 to 12:15, and then one in the afternoon from 1:15 to 5:30. It's a cohort-based program, which basically means you go through all together. Everybody that comes into the program with you will go through the entire program together. We have 2 residentials. One is orientation, just like we talked about before. The other thing is we take a trip abroad. And some examples of trips that we've taken. We just got back from, let's see, where did we go, Rihanna? We went to Stockholm in June. And then the year before, we went to Tallinn in Estonia. The year before that, we went to Copenhagen. And we do other countries too, not just northern countries. We've gone to Portugal, we've gone to Italy, we've gone to Spain. So we go to different countries every year. And if you see at the bottom there where it says the concierge program, basically you pay a fee, a lump sum fee, and it includes everything. It includes your tuition, your textbooks, parking on campus, all of your instructional materials. So if you have to get cases or a simulation game, everything is included in it. And then it also has meals. We feed you breakfast and lunch on Saturday, since we have you here for the day. And then you have your international study trip is also included. The only thing that we don't include in that trip is you have to pay for your ticket from here to the country that we're going to. But everything else, once you get in country, is pretty much included. This program is designed for working professionals by looking at the concept of the triple bottom line. So what we look at is this concept of you have to, when you're making a business decision, a strategy decision, what you need to consider is what kind of profit are you going to make? What's the impact of your decisions on society as well as on the environment? So you look at those from the perspective of the trade-offs that you're making. We use an integrated teaching approach, which means we have multiple faculty in the classroom working with you. We have consulting projects. We have clients. We get clients and we have consulting projects. We do comprehensive case studies. We use simulation games to learn how to develop your business strategy. And then also you really do get a global perspective when you go overseas. So when you go to different countries, you not only learn about how they do business in those countries, but you also learn about the culture and the traditions that these countries have. And here's the profile of our typical student. As you can see here, the average student is a little older with 34 versus 31 years of age. It's about 50-50 men and women. The GMAT range is about the same as it is, and the GRE range test scores are about the same as they are for the evening program. And then here, the top 3 undergraduate majors are communications, engineering, and business. But like I said, we have students that come in with all sorts of different backgrounds. So if you're interested in the Saturday MBA program or the Saturday MBA program, Rihanna, who you can see here, she's the one that's with me tonight, you would contact her and she can give you more information on it. And now our program that is designed more for students who are just starting out in their career and have, maybe you just graduated from college and you have 1 or 2 years of experience, but you really haven't started your career. This is the program for you. You go full time, it's during the day, and you can get through in 21 months. We do the same thing in this program as we do in the Saturday program. You have the orientation and the international study trip. For the international study trip this last year, we went to Sydney, Australia. In the past, we've gone to Colombia, we've gone to Santiago, Chile, we've gone to Rome, we've gone to, what are some of the other places? And this year, we go in January, and this January, we're going to be going to Tel Aviv in Israel. So lots of exciting things to do. And then we have our career guidance workshop. When you go through the program, since most of the students that come in don't have a lot of experience, what ends up happening is you need a lot more career guidance. And so our graduate business career group, they set up a workshop, and you go through this workshop and you learn everything that you need to be prepared to get an internship in the summer, as well as you're ready to apply and interview and start on a job when you graduate. And the other thing is, so you can see right here, this is it's all focused on entrepreneurship and innovation. And basically what this is do you want to start your own business? If you want to start your own business, that's where the entrepreneurship comes in. Also, we have what's called intrapreneurship, and that is basically people who are interested in working for a larger company. They don't want to start their own company, but they're interested in being involved in maybe the new product development process that companies go through. And so you're able to learn how to do this in this program. Again, it's a concierge program. Your fees cover everything: your textbook, parking, all your materials, your study trip, your meals on certain days when you're here that you're in class. We cover your meals. And again, the international study trip, we cover everything except that airplane flight from here to the country that we're going to and back. And by looking at this, you can see how much younger these students are. The average age is 24. The GPA, and I'd say that the test scores are pretty close as they are to the other programs. Here we tend to have a little more women to men, but we also have more international students in this program. The top two undergraduate majors are business and engineering. And again, we have students that come from all different majors. And we also have, just to give you a little bit more information on international students, we get international students from all over the world. We have students that come from Asian countries. We have students coming from Europe. We have students that come from Latin America. So you get students from all over the world. So it is truly a diverse group of students that you would be in a cohort with. So if you're interested in this program, there's Giselle Oberly. She's the program manager for this, and you would contact her and she'll give you all the information you need for this. All right, so our last program, this is our online MBA program, and this year, actually this fall, we brought in our first cohort. We're very proud of this program, and this program is designed for not just working professional, but also people who are in their early part of their career. The classes are Monday through Thursdays. You can go through the program in either 21 months or you can go through in 4 years. What we do is we allow 2 different tracks. So if you want to go through faster, you can get done in less than 2 years. If you want to go through slower and you need more time, you can go through the program in up to 4 years. So you really get to decide how fast you go through the program. The program is 50% synchronous and 50% asynchronous. Now, for those of you that aren't real clear on what this means, 50% synchronous means that you will come together one night a week where you will be in a virtual classroom with everybody else and the professor and also a teaching assistant. So one night a week, that's what you're doing. And then the other 50%, you're on your own, either working in teams or working on your own on assignments. Our quarters are 8-week quarters, and you go through as a cohort. In this program, we also have 2 types of residentials, the orientation and the international study abroad trip. We also are very careful to integrate soft skills into the curriculum. And we think that's really important for this because it's really easy to feel like, oh, I don't have to really worry about communication because it's an online program. But you really do need to develop and hone your soft skills. So that's why we make sure it's part of the curriculum. And then in terms of our graduate business career services, you have 2 choices here. If you want to come to campus and make appointments and work with our career people, you can do that, or you can make appointments online and use Zoom, which is what we're using right now, to go through online coaching. Right. And so like I said, the structure of the program is part-time and full-time tracks. We use the latest in technology. And the other thing that we do that sets us apart from many other online programs is that all our program is Quality Matters certified, which basically means we go through a rigorous testing to make sure that our courses are designed and teach what we say they're going to teach. And each class has a teaching assistant that will work with the faculty to support your learning. You can do office hours with the teaching assistant. The teaching assistant is basically someone who is an expert in the course that you're taking. And now we have here's an example of the full-time program. So you can see here in the first 8 weeks, so if you look at, for example, right now, our first 8-week session, students are taking Accounting 500 and Finance 501. In the second session, they would take our statistics course, which is IS 601, and then the Marketing 500. So you can see they can go through this entire program in 21 months or less than 2 years. But for those of you that are interested in going through it at a slower pace, here's our part-time program. So you could take one class a session. So for example, you could take Accounting 500 now, and you wouldn't take the Finance 501 that's being taught right now. You'll take that later in the program. And then in the second session, you could take your statistics, but you wouldn't be taking the Marketing 500 because you'll take it in the second year. So you can see that we try to put in a lot of flexibility here for students that really want to figure out how much time they have to devote to school and everything that they need to do in their private lives. All right. So for this, both our online and our evening MBA programs, the person that you would talk to is Lindsey Sturt. You can see her email there, and she can provide you with all the answers to the questions that you might have for this program. So just in closing for my part of this is when you're trying to figure out what's the best program for you, what you need to do is you should ask yourself some questions. Do you have a strong need for flexibility? In other words, do you need to be able to adjust your schedule based on your lifestyle and your work and career? If you do, then a program like the Saturday program isn't flexible. So you have to go on Saturdays, you have to take the same 2 courses, but the evening program is. And so you can adjust it. So you might want to focus on that program. Do you want a built-in network through a cohort program? Well, our cohort programs are our Saturday program, our daytime accelerated program, and our online MBA program. Those are cohort programs. And when we say a built-in network is you go through these programs together as a cohort. So you basically build on your network of people that you're going to be with, basically know for the rest of your life. How important is it to be able to get to a concentration? So your concentration is going to be only in your evening program. Is a general MBA what you're looking for? That's another important question. Do you want a concierge program, or do you want to do it yourself? For example, do you want us to bring everything to you? For example, your books, all your instructional material, pay for your trip, all this. If you want that, and your meals, if you want that and that's important to you, then you want a concierge program, which would be like the Saturday program, the accelerated program, or the online program. If you're fine going through the program and going to the bookstore and buying your own books and getting your own parking permit, and you don't need meals when you come to school because you're not here during the day, things like that, then the evening program is probably better for you. How important is a global immersion to your career? 3 of our programs, like we said, the Saturday, the online, and the accelerated program have global immersion. The evening does, but it's an optional program. So it's really important that you have this ability to go overseas and learn how to do business in other countries and learn about other cultures. Then those first 3 programs are probably better choices for you. All right, now I'm going to turn it over to Rihanna.
All right, thank you, Dr. Martin. Okay, so my part is going to be focusing on the application process, admissions requirements, and then we will get to definitely the question and answers for this portion of tonight's presentation. So our general application requirements. Anybody applying to any of the MBA programs, the university does require that you have a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited university. We require either the GMAT or the GRE exam. These are going to be entrance exams that are going to be required for graduate school. We have a test waiver policy in place, which I will get to later on in the presentation. So unless you've been granted a test waiver, you will be required to sit for either the GMAT or GRE exam. The application itself will require you to upload a current resume or CV, a video statement of purpose, and we will talk about the prompt for the video statement of purpose question in a little bit. This is basically going to be about a 3 to 5 minute video that you're going to be required to upload using a video platform service such as YouTube or Vimeo or iVideo or Google Drive. Uploading this video to your actual application itself, you will be required to give us the link so that we can access your video. There's also a short response written statement that you would be required to submit with the application itself, and then 2 letters of recommendation, which we'll talk about in a little bit of future slides here. So the application process, you would create a profile through our Cal State Apply application system. The application deadline for our fall application system, or fall application cycles, fall 2020 applications is June 1st. Now, Dr. Martin talked about 4 different MBA programs. For right now, the only MBA program that we're currently accepting applications for is our Evening MBA Program. The Evening MBA Program, we are accepting applications for spring 2020. The application opened on August 1st, and the deadline to apply is November 1st. So the application itself will require 4 quadrants, which we'll go over in a little bit as well. You're required to pay a non-refundable application fee. Right now for this spring, if you're interested in applying for the Evening MBA program, the application is $55. So you complete your application, pay the $55 fee, and submit your application on its way for review to the university. If you are planning on applying for any of our future programs for fall 2020, the application fee does go up. It is going to be $70 starting fall 2020. So if you are interested in the Evening MBA program, now is going to be the time to do it and save yourself some money. The last part will be of the application process will be submitting your transcripts and test scores to the university. So I always advise applicants, do not send us your transcripts or submit your test scores to the university before submitting your application. You want to make sure you submit your entire application along with the fee, and then you'll be receiving a confirmation email from Enrollment Services with instructions on how to send your transcripts and your test scores to the university. What happens is if we receive your transcripts before your application is on file, we don't have an application on file to match with the transcripts that we've received under your name. And so a lot of the times what will happen is Enrollment Services Office will then purge the transcripts or any of the documents, official documents that we receive without your application yet being on file. So it's really important. You want to make sure that you wait for that confirmation email from the university before sending us your official documents in order to ensure a smooth and timely process of your application. So this is what our Cal State Apply application system looks like. You would select the drop down here, the term in which you're interested in applying for. So again, Evening MBA, Spring 2020 for all of our other MBA programs, Fall 2020. The fall application cycle won't open until October 1st. So if you go to this website today and you try applying for the AMBA, the Accelerated MBA Program, or the Online MBA Program, or the Saturday MBA Program, you won't be able to see Fall 2020 here because it's not opened. Again, it'll open October 1st. So for right now, only the Evening MBA program for Spring 2020 will show under this drop-down menu. And then you would want to make sure that you are at the bottom here, it shows graduate. You are applying for a graduate program. If you try to indicate that you're a freshman, none of our MBA programs will come up because you wouldn't be qualified. So just make sure that you are selecting the correct term as well as the appropriate graduate level application to file. So once you've created your profile in our Cal State Apply application system and you've selected the program that you are going to be applying for, this is what the actual application itself will look like. These are what we call the 4 quadrants of the application. So after you've completed all of the sections for each of these 4 quadrants, it'll light up green and there'll be a check mark next to it. Personal information is under the first quadrant, so there's several sections here that you're going to be required to complete. Once you've completed all of the sections, there will be a blue check mark, so that way you know that you've completed all of those sections. And then again, the personal information quadrant, number 1, you'll see is lit up in green there, so you know you've completed all of those sections. Academic history, you're going to be required to provide us with all of the colleges that you've attended, transcript entry and GPA entries. These portions are not required for you to input if you are already graduated from your undergraduate university. We will only request for this information if you're currently in progress or taking classes at a university. So once you access the application system, you can read the instructions and it'll tell you how to go about inputting all of the information for the classes that you're currently taking or you plan on taking in the future. Standardized tests, so as I mentioned, the GMAT or GRE exam is going to be required. So under standardized tests here, you would input the score that you received on either exam. If you haven't taken the exam yet, then this portion will still also allow you under standardized tests to input the future date in which you plan on sitting for your exam. Just a rule of thumb, the last day that we accept test scores will be the application deadline. So November 1st is our application deadline for spring 2020. You will have to sit for the GMAT or the GRE exam no later than November 1st. Sorry, that's spring 2020. So the last day will be November 1st for sitting for the exam. If you are planning on applying for a program in fall 2020, our application deadline is going to be June 1st. So you'll need to make sure that you take the exam no later than that June 1st deadline. So the remaining 3 and 4 quadrants, supporting information, a lot of this information can actually be bypassed. So there's some experiences, achievements, and documents which you can actually opt out of entering any of that information for because you are going to be uploading a CV or your resume in the 4th quadrant. So once you get to each one of these sections, you can simply indicate that I will not be inputting or I will be opting out of entering in any of this information in. So that way you can just go ahead and bypass each of those sections. At the very bottom, statement of purpose, we're going to require our own personal statement of purpose for you to be typing in. It's going to be a kind of like a prompt, and as well as the video statement of purpose. So under the statement of purpose section, you can simply type in that I will be submitting my statement of purpose to the department directly. And then lastly, program materials. This is the 4th quadrant. So you'll see at the bottom, it'll indicate the program for which you've selected to apply for. And then this is what the 4th quadrant looks like. So you have the home page, which will give a short description of the program in which you're applying for, along with the application deadline. Then we have some documents. The documents page is where you're going to be uploading your resume or your CV. Recommendations, so we require 2 letters of recommendation. From your recommenders can either be from industry, from your workplace, or they can be academic recommenders, or you can have one of each. So under the recommenders section, you're going to be inputting their name and their email address. Then what is going to happen is the application system is going to trigger an email to your recommenders in order for them to access our recommenders portal, and then they would be uploading or typing in your letter of recommendation for you. And then lastly, the questions, which is what I'm going to go over next. It'll be the video statement of purpose as well as the writing prompt. So I mentioned the letters of recommendation. We do require 2. This is just kind of some helpful hints for your recommenders. What we look for, what we ask for the recommenders to include in their letter would be a short summary of how they know you, your history with that person, the statement of characteristics that will enable you to excel in your graduate studies here. And what are some contributions that maybe you have brought to your workplace or the classroom? And then lastly, a strong closing statement of endorsement for your candidacy for our programs. So it doesn't have to be too lengthy, page at most, but just, somebody who you know well who would be able to kind of vouch for your fit for our program. Okay, so the video statement of purpose. Again, you can use YouTube, you can use Vimeo, you can use any one of these video platform services. The application system is going to require that you provide a link so that we can access your video. And the prompt is as follows. So through your resume and recommendations, we have a clear sense of your professional path to date. What are your career goals over the next 3 to 5 years? And what in your imagination would be your long-term dream job? So this doesn't have to be, an elaborate explanation. We're looking for concise, professional, responses straight to the point. No more than 5 minutes for this video. Okay, so then the short answer, written personal statement. The prompt is as follows: describe a time when you dealt with someone who was difficult. So this will be a text box on the actual application itself that you'll be required to respond to this question. We want specific examples, including how you handled this situation and what you would do differently if you can go back. There's only 250 characters allowed in the text box on the application itself. So again, doesn't have to be fluffy, doesn't have to be, elaborate. We're looking for concise, very professional, straight to the point responses, and being, very direct in your answers. All right, so then lastly, the GMAT GRE test waivers. So we do require the exam, GMAT or GRE, unless you are able to demonstrate at least 7 years or more of significant managerial work experience. So to determine if you qualify for this, if you think you're, maybe 6.5, or, you have 8, but it was maybe, I don't know, doing something in a leadership role, and then you took some time off and then you went back, you can go ahead and you can submit the required documents to us, and it'll be about a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time. Dr. Martin will review your documents, and she will have us notify, one of the program managers notify you directly whether or not you do qualify for the GMAT GRE waiver. So you'll want to submit a copy of your resume, a recommendation letter from your supervisor, and then your unofficial transcripts to our email address, which is mba@csulb.edu. And it is a really quick turnaround time, like I said, 24 to 48 business hours. So the sooner that you get those documents to us, the sooner you'll have a response, the sooner that you complete your application. Okay, some of our frequently asked questions before we do get to the question and answer portion, because some of the questions that you may have could be here. Do you require work experience? So our Saturday MBA program minimum is 3 years of work experience that is required. For the evening MBA program, there's a minimum of 3 years work experience preferred. So again, not required for the evening program, it will be required for the Saturday program. Our AMBA program is more so going to be for early professionals, I guess you would say, no work experience, typically coming straight out of their undergraduate degree programs, and the same would be for the online. If you would like to talk with any one of our students or our alumni, or even visit a class, then you can email us, mba@csulb.edu. You just want to let us know what program that you would be interested in, so that way the right program manager can coordinate that for you. We also have a list of some more frequently asked questions. This can take up, 15 slides if we had them all on here. So we provided the link for you straight to our website with a list of frequently asked questions there. So you can feel free to use that as well. If other questions come up, you can refer to that web page, and you can see some of the questions that have come up and the typical responses or answers to those as well. All right, so this is the end of the presentation now. You always have ways of getting connected with us or getting in touch with us. Again, that mba@csulb.edu email address is going to be the best way to reach one of the program directors. Also in this presentation, Dr. Martin provided you with the program directors for each one of the specific programs as well. Our phone number is here, as well as we're open in the College of Business office. campus, room 363, that's on the 3rd floor. So you can feel free to stop by anytime if you're on campus or near the area, and come and visit us, and we can answer any of your questions at that time as well. So at this time, I will go ahead and I will open it up for questions. Everybody is currently still on mute, so if you have a question, just feel free to remove yourself from mute. You can ask the question, or I do have the text box up, so feel free to text your questions if you feel more comfortable with doing that as well. But we are all ears. We are yours. Any questions now?
Oh, there's a chat.
Yes, so the evening classes in the evening MBA program, all of the classes are on the traditional semester. So they're all 16-week classes. And the classes is a good question. The classes are from 7 to 9:45 p.m. So all of the evening MBA classes are held once per week in the evening. So you basically get to choose how many classes you want to take. If you're taking 2 classes a semester, that basically means that you would be coming to campus twice a week in the evenings from 7 to 9:45.
No questions, just a thank you.
So no, unfortunately, the GRE cannot be waived if you have a business bachelor's degree from CSULB in the last 3 years. The only way to waive the GMAT or GRE, again, would be the 7 years of managerial work experience. All right, thank you. Okay, I guess that is it. Thank you, Dr. Martin, and we look forward to hearing from you guys soon.
Yes. Thank you and good night.
Good night.